Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative. Prophetic and practical.
Intellectual stew.
Informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual stew with James.
Long enough. Let's get this music on. All right. What's up? What to do? It's another time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirkland. And I'm excited about tonight's show. Ashley might or might not be on. Ashley's attending to some of her motherly duties, and that is very, very important. So, and that's part of what the conversation is about tonight as we continue this theme or this thought related to showing women showing men how to date them. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about dating with a purpose, dating with a purpose. And I got someone to come on, someone that I have been following on social media. That's how I came to know who she is, and I kind of watched what she was doing, how she was raising her children, how she was kind of living her lifestyle, and it was intriguing. So what I did was I invited her to come on the show. So I'm going to bring her on now. If you're in the chat, go ahead and share this thread, and let's go ahead and get this thing going. I think I did go live. It's trying to tell me I'm not live already, but I know I'm already live. So let's go. Maybe I'm having some other things going on. All right, come here, Brandy. Are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, Brandy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Doing well. First of all, I want to thank you for consenting to come on the show. I know I came in your inbox several months ago and asked you to come on. And at that time, that's when I had just kind of became acquainted with you, and I saw what you were doing with fitness and those things. So I wanted to make sure to invite you onto the show. And then as we kind of started going on a little bit further, I got to know you a little bit more. Then I invited you on the show again. And finally, I got you to consent. Thank you for coming on today.
You didn't have to front me like that, but that's
how
fine.
I front you? Did I front? It was that fronting? Okay, let me. You know what, y'all?
Yeah,
Hey, please.
you fronted me. You did.
Oh wow. Well, you know what though? I wanted to make sure that if you came on, I didn't just want you coming on just to be coming. You know, I wanted to be definitely a benefit for my audience, and I think your life benefits them in so many different ways. I think you could talk about fitness, number one, because I've seen your profile. So you do the coaching and the fitnessing and the nutrition. I mean, not fitness. Fitness is not a verb. I'm sorry. But you do the fitness, you do nutrition, you do all those things, and then you're an awesome mother, and and all the things that I see, and then you encourage people. So it was so many ways that I thought you could benefit our audience. So that's why I wanted to bring you on, and I appreciate you for coming on.
I appreciate that.
You do? All right. So what did you think we were going to talk about tonight? I mean, because I know, and I'm hoping, no, so no, don't make that face. We're going to stay on that. But how did you envision tonight going?
Do what now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but say it again.
I said, how did you envision tonight's conversation going? That's why I was asking.
I can't hear you well.
You can't hear? Can you hear me? Hey, everybody in the chat, can y'all hear me? If you're there, say yes. You can hear me or something. Can you hear? You can't hear me,
I can
Brandy?
hear you.
You can hear me?
Now say it again.
All right, I'm gonna ask one more time. I said, how did you envision tonight's conversation going tonight? When I asked you to come on the show, because everybody else said they can hear me, so you're the only one that can't hear me. So,
I didn't know where it would actually go. When you asked me and I told you, like, I am no expert at dating. I think that I am more available to talk about being single. I think I do that best.
Okay.
But I have had some very long-term relationships that have been successful. I've never been married, but I have a very different take on marriage than most people. So I'm very selective when it comes to that journey. And I want to make sure that I find my forever mate, or he finds me before I go into that venture. So I've had some long-term relationships that have been very successful, but I really enjoy my single season. So I can speak to that better than I can speak to a relationship, but I can definitely speak on dating and all of that as well.
Okay, sounds good. Now, and I've noticed the last couple of weeks you have been kind of active in the comments, and I appreciate that. And I want to ask you a couple of the questions before we get into this. I want to ask you the questions that I asked the ladies the first week, if you don't mind. The first question: can you hear me? Can you hear me good? All right. The first question is, how do you like to be approached?
To be completely honest, I guess. Hold on, people calling my phone. I like to be approached in a very genuine way. I don't like for people to come on super strong to me. Just be yourself, and don't try to put on airs or give me game. Just be like, hey, my name is such and such. I've seen you. I want to get to know you. Versus something about fitness. Don't talk to me about fitness if you're trying to get to know me. Okay. Don't do that.
So you want a genuine. Okay, G. Abdul Young asked you a question.
I can't hear you.
Okay, can you can you hear me? Let me know when you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Hey, I don't know why I can't hear you.
That's okay. If you have to go out and reconnect, try connect again or whatever. But let's get it. Let's make sure you're good.
I cannot hear you at all.
Is everybody in the chat? Put a 1 in the chat if you still can hear me, please, ma'am, please, sir. Put a 1 in the chat if you can still hear me, because I want to make sure it's not me on this end. I say I do. Can you all still hear me? Somebody say yes, say no, say please. Okay, yeah, everybody else can still hear me. Brandon, I'm gonna text you. Look up. Hold on. You see this? I'm gonna tell you. Hold on. Go out and come back in. We're gonna get this conversation going. If y'all have questions for her or for me, go ahead and put them in the chat. And we'll get this. We're gonna get these technical difficulties worked out. Go out and come back in. All right, so I'm gonna text and that. All right, so Renee, Chandria, G. Abdul, Reggie, Cammy, how y'all doing tonight? I appreciate you all for listening in. We're gonna get this conversation going in a moment, but we always have these little technical difficulties. So what we're dealing with tonight, I want to ask the ladies in the question, Chandria, Renee, Cammy, how, when a guy approaches you, what up, G. Abdul Young, how do you like to be approached? A couple of weeks ago, Ashley said she doesn't want you catcalling her. She doesn't want you going pss, pss, pss. Snaking. That's what she said, snaking. She said she don't want you snaking her. They said they want to be approached genuinely. Hey, how are you doing? My name is, things of that nature. So they want a really, really organic approach. So we're gonna, y'all, how do y'all like to be approached? Y'all let me know, and we'll talk about that for a moment until we get Miss Brandy back in. Let me see if I got her again. Can you hear me now, Brandy?
I can. Okay.
All righty then. Yeah. Now sometimes if you see you can't hear like that, just pop out and pop right back in. Sometimes
Okay.
it's just a Wi-Fi thing. Okay. So G Abdul Young asked you a question based on something you just said. He said, Miss Brandy, how do you define a long-term successful relationship if it doesn't ultimately work out?
Ultimately, some relationships aren't supposed to work out. They're supposed to just teach you, about how to relate to other people, how to be committed to a situation, a person, a season, because we have to remember that everything has a season.
Mm.
And some seasons are just to teach us lessons. Some seasons are to help us grow. So I think some of my relationships that I've been in have really taught me how I'm going to be when it comes to being a wife. Like how I know I can submit to the right leadership. As long as he's following God, I can submit to him. But I also know that if he is following something else, I'm not going to follow that. And I learned that in those relationships. And I also learned how to walk away when it didn't serve me.
Oh,
So
wow.
those are things that I define as successful when it comes to a longer term relationship that didn't end in marriage.
Did that answer your question, Mr. Abdul Young? Because my dad did teach me a long time ago. You can learn something from everybody, even if it's what not to do. So that's a mature approach to know when to walk away and be mature enough to walk away. Now this is another one I want to ask you because some of the women a couple of weeks ago said when we talked about modes of communication, and I think you were on that week. Most of them said they had to have phone calls, or they need a phone call in the morning and a phone call at night, or they need several phone calls during the day. You shaking your head, no. Do you don't want phone calls, Brandy? You don't want phone calls?
Don't call me. I just got
Okay.
a call and I just ignored. See, don't call me. I am different in the fact I know that a lot of women spoke to this, that they're busy. I am a full-time trainer. I'm also a fitness instructor. So I don't have that same availability. In the morning, I'm doing praise and worship on my way to the gym. I'm praying. I'm having my intercession. Though I do that when I wake up, I also take that moment to really set the atmosphere of my day. So I don't want a call from you. If
Mhm.
you text me good morning, just don't do the whole good morning beautiful thing, but definitely text me good morning. Definitely reach out to me throughout the day, but understand that I am busy. And some days you can literally text me in the morning and I won't get to you until 3 or 4 o'clock. But that doesn't mean I haven't thought about you. That doesn't mean that I'm ignoring you. It just means that I am a woman who is busy. And beyond all of that, I'm also a solo mother. I'm the only parent that my son has. So I'm at his beck and call. If the school calls me or anything happens, then I'm available to that. So a call, you got to schedule that, boo. Please let me know when you trying to call and let me try to fit that in my schedule. But I will prioritize a call. If you let me know that you would like to talk, I would prioritize that as it fits in my schedule. But you got to understand that you're not going to be my top priority all the time because I have other things going on.
So you said you used a term, and we talked about this the other day. Because y'all know when people come on the show, I try to vet them. I need to kind of, if it's just it wasn't talking, it was texting. But I gotta vet them. I gotta vet them. So she used that term solo mother. Notice she said solo mother. She didn't say single mother because we love to throw that term out, single mother, single mother. And she said she doesn't like the term single mother. Why don't you like the term single mother,
Because it gets a lot of flack. It
Brandon?
gets a lot of flack, and people like to put you in a box. And I'm like, I think one reason why God allowed me the gift of motherhood is because I give a different reality of single motherhood.
Okay.
I don't give the reality of this person who is going after somebody being crazy or even like a broke, busted, and disgusted. I've lived every dream that I have ever had in my mind with my child on my hip. I try to encourage women to understand that you are no less anointed, you are no less called because you get this mantle of motherhood and you don't have a husband to be beside you. Sometimes that's just not the story, but it's because of our decision that now we have to carry this other person through life. So I try, like, my son only knows me, so I'm his solo parent, and my parents are my co-parents. So I just don't like the term single mom. I just
Okay, single mom. So you in a nutshell gave us a snapshot of what your day looks like. You say you wake up in the morning, you go to the gym, you have a 10-year-old son, you have to make sure he's cared for during the course of the day. And I've watched you. I think you do yoga, you do bounce, you say you do training. So you have a full day. So I get it if you don't have time for what you do in text or good morning, beautiful text, or just, I guess what I'm trying to say, I guess I get it if you don't have time for frivolous conversation. It has to be meaningful.
yes.
So I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Last week I did a show, and the show was inspired by a post that I saw on Facebook. All right. The post was made by Brandy. So Brandy's the one that made the post. So I'm gonna put up the post because somebody said you was lying, Brandy. I ain't gonna lie. One person told me you was lying.
I saw that.
They said you were lying. I don't know how they got you lying out of that situation. But but let me put the post up again for those in the chat, and I want y'all to communicate. Y'all let me know you there. Talk to us. Let us know. And if you have any questions for me, if you have any questions for Brandy, we're gonna work our way through these questions. So here the post is that Brandy put up last week. Let me put it up. She says, "Single, why? I finally know the answer. At some point, women started pursuing men. I'm not about that. My parents didn't allow me to chase boys growing up, so I'm not going to chase hold on, I'm trying to take this off. Not going to chase men now." Let me take this off. Okay, hold on. I got something on here I ain't mean to put on here. My bad. All right, good. So she says, "Pursue me, get to know me, and then court me. Until then, I'll remain single and outside, free as a bird from time to time." What inspired that post?
I am asked a lot about why I'm single from several different people, and I've never really taken time to really sit down and with my thoughts and really go through that and figure out why. So this particular day, I just was like, I got it. This is it. Aha moment. Because all of these, and then I've also been seeing what you posted last week or what you shared last week, the women like proposing to men. I've been watching this show on OWN, Will You Marry Me Now or something, and I've been like, oh my God, I could never. So I'm like, it is a new world that women are literally pursuing men, and not only just pursuing men, but even asking them to marry them and putting pressure on them. Like, you got to do it right now. I'm like, whoa, when did that happen? The Bible says, he who findeth a wife, come find me, honey. David has found her working. So you're going to have to find me working, sir. I'm not going to find you. Really? And honestly, I don't have time to find you. What time I got?
Wow. So, but when do they have time to find you? Do they bump into you or like meet you at the gas station? Just random? It's just gonna have to be through Facebook, or it's just gonna have to be organic? How? Because if it's not a priority, and I get it, because you hear so many women say, I'm dating with a purpose or I'm dating with intentions, and a person like me, who was married for so long, right? I was married for 20 years. So if I come out and I'm dating, I can't see it being any way other than with a purpose, right?
Right.
So when I hear people say that, I used to get, I ain't gonna say offended, but I felt some type of way. I felt like they were just trying to think of another excuse or put another stipulation on, or create deepen some other type of divide. You know what I'm saying? But when I look at your schedule, and then I think about so many people like you that have, because typically women are the ones who end up raising the children, who
Correct.
ends up responsible for the day-to-days and making sure they eat and all those kinds of things. So you have to sacrifice a side of yourself. And in that sacrificing, you have to choose carefully who you allow in your circle.
Correct. You got it.
Is that what it basically boils down to?
That is exactly what it boils down to. Last week, my word that I was hearing in my spirit was space. And I was considering what I was allowing to take up space in my life, who I was allowing to take up space, and who I needed to either formally evacuate from my space, or I just needed to step away from, because I do, even though I say I'm not pursuing men, I believe that your single season is your season of preparation. So it is your time to look at yourself and evaluate where you are, what changes you need to be making so that you can be who you want to attract. So yes, I'm definitely not out here looking, but I'm also not unavailable. So there has been seasons in my single season where I'm like, I'm single, but I'm not available, because I'm still healing. I'm allowing God to work on me. But I'm also right now in a season that is very new to me, where I am single, but I'm available, but I'm only available for the right individual to come in, and I'm going to allow him to pursue me. And that right individual can pursue me in any way. He can see me out at the gas station, at the store. He can be in my inbox. But what he has to understand is I'm going to review his fruit. So I'm going to take some time, and I'm going to get to know his actions and how he moves. And then from there, I'm going to allow him to show me who he is. But I'm also going to say, but your fruit look like this. So which one of these, do these align? And if they don't align, I'm going to be ready to split, because I don't have time. I'm not just going to allow anybody to pursue me. And I think that's how every woman should really be. But make sure that you are in a place where you are healed, you are strong, you are available, and you are whole, so that you can truly evaluate somebody else, not judging them, but just knowing if they will fit into your space properly.
Wow. And you said allow him to pursue you. And I think brothers, I think that's something that we need to pay attention to as well. Because if a woman does not want you to pursue her, then she's not going to allow you to pursue her. And if that's not and if that's not the case, that's okay. At that point, you need to take Brandy's advice and move on at that, and just move on. I mean, and that's okay. You mean I think there are 3 million more black women than there are men in this world. So if you don't get Brandy, or if you don't get somebody like her, or, then there's somebody, I think, for every man. Now, unfortunately, there might not be somebody for every woman numerically, but there is somebody. Yeah, sadly, and that's sad. And I think we perpetuate that whole myth that there is somebody for everybody, and it's not. And then it creates,
and it's not, everybody is not supposed to be in relationship. Paul tells us that.
Absolutely. And
so you have to know which side of the fence you fall on. Are you really one of those people that need to pursue relationship because you cannot keep things tamed, or can you keep things tamed and you're supposed to be on reserve for the assignments that you need to fulfill on the earth? In some seasons, you really are on reserve for those assignments, and you have to be at peace with your single season.
Be at peace with your single season. So once you allow them to pursue you, ladies, what Miss Brandy says she does is she starts to review his fruit. And if his fruit doesn't line up with his character, his fruit doesn't line up with his actions, because if what did the Bible say? If an apple tree is, it didn't say it like this, but it implied it. If an apple tree is giving oranges, then that's probably something wrong. That apple tree. Yeah, it's something wrong with that apple tree. So now, you said something earlier. You said when people try to get to know you, sometimes they look for an end, and one of the ends that they'll try to use is fitness. Do it be like guys with big guts and don't look like they would do any type of fitness that's trying to talk fitness with you, or is it people that are
not necessarily? It could be a very fit man telling me all the things that he couldn't do to keep up with me, or when I'm going to invite him to the gym. That's like asking a chef, When she gonna cook for you?
Wow. Hey,
Are
what's
you
up,
gonna
Steve?
pay? I'm like, that's my profession. So if you
Uh-huh.
want to pay me for sessions, I'm more than open to that. But understand, I don't date my clients.
Okay. Wow. 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 All right. So this is good. This is good so far. This is good so far. So I shot you an article earlier today, and it
And I
asked a
think it's
question, and that's fine. That's fine. It asked a question as it talks about, because I want to know from the ladies and the gentlemen in the chat, what does it mean to date with a purpose? What does it mean to date with a purpose? Well, y'all in the chat, what does that mean? I asked that question on Facebook today, and when I asked it, hey, Linda Driver, Sister Driver, how you doing? When I asked that question about what it means to date with a purpose, I asked, and I'm gonna ask you this question as well, Brandon.
okay.
I asked, does it mean that you're basically interviewing a potential spouse?
That's
But
what
then
it means to me.
that seems
My
so.
dad always told me that I needed to make sure that I dated with the perspective of this is going to be my husband.
Okay.
Does he have the qualities that I would like to see in my husband? And now that I have a son, we had a conversation a couple of months ago, and he was like, Brandy, you have to be open. And I was like, first of all, you don't know what's out here. You have been married for over 40 years, so
Wow.
it is very different. And he was like, but Brandy, you have to be open, but you have to be open knowing that you know, you are Braden's example. So you have to date a man who is going to understand your dynamic with your son. And I said, Dad, I'm gonna pray that God shows you what's out here. A couple months later, he was like, and Brandy, don't date. You're right. I like your stance. It's fine. These men are very different. I'm going to be praying that the man of God finds you, but you just don't be open. Don't be open. I said, exactly. Because it is a very different crop right now. But every time that I allow somebody to pursue me, I go, is this a man that I could see myself being with, submitting to, and living a life with that I can cover? Can I cover him? Am I gonna be willing to follow his instructions as he follows God, or am I gonna be like, nah, I'm finna go over here. You can do what you want, bro.
Wow. So that sounds like submission. You looking for somebody that you can submit to. Oh wow. Yeah. Y'all, this is a rarity. I'm everybody in the chat. I don't know if y'all are, y'all might be shocked like me. No, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I
Well,
listen.
this is the thing, and I have to
Okay.
tell people this often. I am a boss in every area of my life.
A
I
boss.
run my own business. I am my son's only parent. I am also an only child. So my life is very full of making decisions.
Mhm.
If a man can stand up and show me that he can lead me and he can make decisions so I can make less decisions, sir, what can I do for you? Yes. Yes. But I'm also not gonna follow any and everybody because
Absolutely.
I also have a connection with the most high of my own. So if he gives me direction and you going the other way, I'm gonna say, but did you pray about that? Go back to the throne. If we get the same answer, then we on the same page. But if not, baby, I'm gonna walk this way and you can walk that way, and we gonna walk however. And you God gonna deal with you.
That's
But
good.
I want to submit. I've seen
That's
my
good.
mom submit for over 40 years, and it has not, it's reward, a reward, a
And
reward.
that's a major benefit, because you saw your mom submitting, you saw your father making good decisions. So you know what
Let me be clear, because
okay.
if anybody knows James Tate, he didn't always make good
Of
decisions.
course not.
But my mother knew the Most High. She knew that she was called to him. So
Mm,
she stood firm and prayed for him until he came into submission and
wow.
became. So I've seen it all. I've seen both sides. I've seen somebody go left and not be able to lead, but a woman stand firm and knowing that she's supposed to be there, and she did not want to lose the reward of the man of God he was going to become. So when he became, I was like, oh girl, I want this version. I don't want that version.
Oh,
So I've
wow.
seen both versions and been able to be a person who can identify that this is not what I'm going to stand for, because I've seen how it could go. But I don't want to connect myself to someone that I'm going to have to endure that with to see the fruit, because these days the fruit doesn't come like that anymore. The stock is not the same.
You know, I always say, I'm glad you said that. And I need to make sure I earmark this 29-minute mark, because I'm gonna cut that part up and put it out. I need to really promote what you
Put
said.
the whole thing out there, though, James.
Well, I'm gonna put the whole thing out, but I'm definitely gonna put that part out about because I say it in gist, but I mean it like this. I always use the analogy that growth is always taking place, and sometimes we grow up, men, especially us.
Yes.
We grow up in the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad part about it, and y'all have heard me say this before, Stu Nation, that when we grow up in the marriage, sometimes the growth produces growing pains. And
Correct.
I thank God that your mom prayed for the grace to be able to withstand those growing pains, because so many people, and I'm sure you can relate to this, so many people that when they feel pain, rather than heal, rather than go through rehabilitation, they just amputate.
Mm-hmm.
And when they amputate, they cut it off. And the last thing I want to do is cut something off and then have to walk with a limp, because I didn't want to go through the healing that was supposed to take place.
Or you see somebody else benefit from your blessing because you cut it off.
Cut it off too soon. Acrimony. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-mm.
We talked about that a couple of years. And that's the thing, so when we talk about dating with a purpose, you don't have to tell me as a 50-year-old, or soon to be 50-year-old man, to date with a purpose. Because I was a husband for 20 years. I don't feel comfortable being single. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I knew I wasn't ready to date. I knew that I had to go through my healing season and my healing process. And then you talk about the crop of men out here. Trust me, it's a crop of women out here too. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, all males aren't men and all females aren't ladies. Now, I didn't post it because I didn't want to cause no trouble, but really,
that's true. That's true. But we have to understand that the example is very different. Like you said something, you're almost 50. I am 36 years old. The example is very different. And even being 36, I realized the divide very early. When I was younger, the parents didn't look the same. Some parents didn't look like my mother. And now we see parents even younger with a different example. So when you don't have the example there, it all starts to blend and look very different and very bland. I've seen the reason why I say that I've had some successful long-term relationships is because those relationships did not manifest a marriage that would have ended in divorce or demise. And that would have hurt me far greater than walking away from a relationship. A divorce is something I wouldn't have been able to live with because I haven't seen that example. So I would have rather walked away in a season where we don't have that high level of commitment than to stay in something and then get married and then have to talk about a divide that will hurt me forever. Because this right now, like I remember being in college and calling my parents and them telling me about some of their friends getting divorced. And I was like, let me tell you something. We have always said this in this family. We may not be perfect, but we are real. And y'all are not allowed to get a divorce. I've seen you go through so many storms. Don't be like your friends, but that has become the social norm. So instead of sticking it out, not cutting it off, people run. And I'm not for that. You better go in that other room and figure it out, be mad, but you better come out and be up in that other room in the morning. Don't play with me. Death do us part, buddy.
You're gonna ride it out, huh?
Ride it out.
No grounds for divorce. No grounds for divorce. No grounds for divorce. Cheating.
They're not cheap because listen.
Okay.
Whew.
You look like a serial killer. That look like a serial killer face right there. So no, I don't want to get you started on that. My bad. I didn't want to strike a nerve. I didn't want to strike a nerve.
I watch a lot of crime TV. Just know it.
Not you. No, you watch so you can get rid of the body.
I'm not gonna talk about this on here in case one
Yeah,
day.
they are listening. They are listening. All right, so I got a question for the people in the chat. All right, this is for the single ladies in the chat, and also Brandy, we're gonna get you to answer this question in just a moment. Okay, did you have desired characteristics or values of your date partner in mind when you went on a date last time? The last time you went on a date, did you have any desired characteristics or values of your date partner in mind? Hold on for you answer, Brandy. That's the question for the people in chat because I'm trying to get us to understand what dating with a purpose means. Okay. Because everybody seems to say that dating with a purpose should end in marriage. Even and what I liked about it is even the fellas I asked that question to on my Facebook page, they all agreed that it should
Yes,
be end in marriage.
fellas.
They should. I'm so we all grown. Ashley, what you do? Oh, never mind. We good, Ashley. But did you have all?
Hey,
Cammy said.
Ashley, I miss you,
Nikki
girl.
said, "Yes, I did." Cammy Lachey said, "Yes, I did." Katrina Brown said, "Yes, I did." Ashley said, "Yes, she did." Brandy, last date you went on, did you have any desired characteristics or values of your date partner in mind when you went on that date?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story. When I guess I may have been 21. I read this book and it talked about visions and how to create a vision for every area of your life. And one area was your mate. So it challenged you to create a list with biblical characteristics. So he had to have biblical characteristics to go on it. All these things had to go on this list. So I've been living by that list since I was 21.
Hmm. And so you applied that to your dates?
Yep.
Everything?
Everything. He got to line up.
Wow. You got me. So yeah, I'm having trouble. She's making me speechless tonight. So so I usually can ride through these little conversations kind of organically. I got some notes over here, and I'm gonna pull them out in just a minute. All right, hold on. Nikki Nicole, let's read her comment. Nikki said, "Ashley, come here." Absolutely. I only agreed to go out after we had the initial conversation, and I felt we were on the same page. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Okay, so that's the thing.
Yes, Nikki.
Sister, brothers, and I'm the same. I mean, I can't deny because I'm the same way. Brothers, we can't be wasting their time nowadays, man. I mean, like I said, Brandy says she's a boss, and not like the one that Cam Newton was talking about that sparked all the controversy a couple weeks ago, because she did say she can cook too and some couple things too. So and she does. Okay, so because did you hear Cam Newton's word? Did you hear Cam Newton's words the other day?
I heard a little clip of it and I turned Cam off. I said, Cam, listen.
But Cam didn't say.
But I'm gonna tell you, I think that we also have to understand, and I've seen a lot of this going around, his message and his delivery and how the women of the day were different because they had more time for all of that, but they were dying inside. You can't tell me a woman was doing all of that, taking care of home, taking care of her husband, and not suppressing so much of herself. Like even the Proverbs 31 woman had balance. You asking for a woman to not have balance. And
But you know
now
what?
our lives are very different. We get gender roles at some point have to go away. You have to be able to pick up your weight and I pick up mine. And we have to have an understanding of what we're each gonna do. If I can't cook tonight because I'm training people until 8:30, you better have some food when I get home.
You know what? I'm gonna go back. One Tuesday. I'm gonna teach that Proverbs 31 text because a lot of people misinterpret. You're right. Don't get me wrong, but they really misinterpret the Proverbs 31. You know, he was talking to the king. I mean, when the proverb was written, he wasn't talking to the woman, telling her how to be. He was talking to him, telling him how his wife ought to be. Mm-hmm. And so many people misinterpret that, and that's a whole nother show. All right, so Katrina said, "Not all."
Look, we can go there when you're ready.
I ain't nervous, so I promise. Let me see if my hand shakes a little bit. Not all those things most people say, but for a date, I just want him to be respectful and honest. That's the only expectation for a date. So I guess Katrina said, "I'll just get to know him organically as we go." All right, Nikki said, My time is valuable. Hold on, I missed it. My time is valuable. And I would like to think his time is as well. So I'm gonna ask you the question, Nikki, because you weren't on earlier. Nikki, how do you prefer to be communicated with? Do you prefer phone calls? Do you prefer text? Do you prefer a combination of both? Brandy already said at the beginning of the show she ain't got time. She really don't have time for phone calls because her life is so busy. You have to schedule phone calls for that to work. So that's that. So what do you think? Okay, Nikki says she prefers phone calls. All right. Valencia said dating is a part of me getting to know someone. I thought I saw Ashley. Dating is a part of me getting to know someone. I would say no. I know what I want, but I have to feel we are vibing, even if we may have had some great conversations on the phone. So that's text are so impersonal. That's what Nikki said. Text are so impersonal. I learn a lot through text, though. Believe it or not. I mean, I hear people say that text are impersonal, but I know truth is relative, so I get it. But to me, I learn a lot by the way a person texts, because I'm not just looking at the words. I'm looking at the spelling of the words. I'm looking at the grammar.
There it is.
I'm looking at the words to see if you can make me smile. Even if I interpret it wrong, you know what I mean. But typically, if you're vibing, you're gonna communicate anyway. That's the way I look at it. But I get it. Some people don't want to text, and some people, I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to hear everybody's voice on the phone. So but I'm probably gonna need to hear it pretty soon, because I will. Because I need to break up with you early. That voice. I need to break up with you
I mean,
early
you
at the
will
phone.
ghost somebody, so
No,
you
I'm.
really
You
don't
know
need
what?
to hear
I'm not gonna.
nobody's voice.
I said I ghosted. I was a ghost a couple of weeks ago, and I shouldn't have put that out there like that.
You did.
Nobody. Let me say this. Nobody deserves to be ghosted. Okay. Nobody deserves to be ghosted. So I'm delivered. I'm delivered.
You deliver.
I'm
Okay.
delivered. I am delivered. But yeah, I mean, I don't lie. Some people I can get on the phone and talk to some people for 5 or 6 hours and wouldn't even realize I was on the phone with them that long. But then some people, it sound like I'm pulling teeth to get out a sentence inside of you. And then we can text a little bit and get this conversation going. All right, here Ashley is. So before she runs off again, let me pull her in. Ashley. Ashley.
Hey, James.
Oh, okay, good. Y'all know I need my Ashley, man. I don't care what nobody say. But she had some motherly duties to do, and that's this whole thing, fellas. You understand? We gotta understand that when we're getting to know these women that have children, that have responsibilities. We have to COMPLEMENT compliment what they're doing and not take away from what they're
Say
doing,
it one
because
more time. Repeat.
compliment.
All right.
We have to
Okay.
be able to compliment and that's not a bad thing. Somebody a couple of weeks ago said that we had these women sitting on the show like they were, what they say, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm
Like they were.
listening.
No, I'm asking you a question. What was the people say last week? We had the women on a couple weeks ago, and they said the women were on the show like they were the almighties or something that you
Oh, oh yeah, like basically they're worth the chase. I have to go back and read the message, but basically like when just like you said, women are almighty, and men are kind of bowing down to us. That's the way they made it seem on the show, which is not that. The show is about the women this time. Y'all got your
Yeah.
time coming. Just give us a little time.
give us. Notice what she said, us, because we're a team, y'all.
Yeah.
Me and Ashley is a team. Yeah, I know. Me and Ashley is a team. All right, Katrina Brown said. Katrina Brown said it depends on the person. I prefer phone conversations, but sometimes texts are cool. Just to let someone know you're thinking about them. But in-depth conversations, I would rather have over the phone or in person. But if he is a texter, I'm not mad. My boy Bolo Steven says, shit, I'll turn into Casper in a heartbeat. In other words, he'll go somebody in a heartbeat.
Bolo, that's not kind.
Brittany, don't pay him no mind. He just
You
be
know,
acting up all the
Bolo is
time.
he's our comments. He's our comments clown.
He just
He's-
be acting up all the time.
He is funny. Okay, so ladies, so y'all had desired characteristics. What about you, Ashley? Did you have any desired characteristics or values of your date partner in mind when you went on your last date?
My last date that I had, yeah, I did. And I married him. And,
Oh,
That's the
and
last date you've been on?
say it again.
That was the last date you've been on?
The last one that I would call a date, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. The last one that I went on, I wouldn't even call it a date. So yeah, that one I married him, and my expectations of him, he stood up to that, and that had to do with my child. And of course, that wasn't right away, but it was quicker than I would have anticipated.
Wow.
That's
So
good.
let me ask another question then. Let's invert that question. Are some of the ladies in the building or in the chat willing to admit that you've gone on dates with someone who didn't have those desired characteristics? Not the values of a husband, not the values of someone that you would be with long term, but he might have been attractive, or he might have had a nice car, or you might have thought if you hung out with him you could fix him. Has anybody ever did that before? Okay, that one person said they have. Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate you, ma'am. Anybody else? Because that's what I'm saying. A couple weeks ago, I said just because we go on a date, don't mean we're dating. We just went out on a date. You know, I needed a plus one. We wanted to hang out. I know some women personally who will go out with different people just to get a nice meal at a nice restaurant. Amen. Like,
That's so sad. That's so
amen. Like, so I'm talking to that.
I don't even have time for that.
sad.
No,
Okay.
I
Okay.
know
What time
women.
in your day? I can make my own meal and I can go purchase something somewhere. I don't need a plus one.
They're here. But do you believe me when I say that?
I know some people who do that.
Okay,
I do.
okay, okay. But that's not the name of the show. Of course, we're talking about dating. So for us, we have to figure out as men, and I guess we have to be. I guess we just kind of have to be in the same place or on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, these last 2-3 years for James Kirkland have been like super lonely and boring because I wasn't ready to date nobody. And I wasn't going out, and I don't like what you call what do they call thoughts or whatever. I don't like those kind of women. So women I
You
like are
so
typically gonna
picky,
be.
James. It's probably been a
But
woman
if
been
I
trying to go out on with you and you don't want to take them.
probably, but if they
Ashley,
Cause he's picky.
Larissa, you gonna let him talk about me like that?
Yeah,
Bolo,
Woo.
I know you got
right.
my back. Bolo, you got my back. Now I
Woo.
ain't gonna lie though, but if I didn't see the potential of someone who could be a wife, and if I wasn't ready to be a husband, wasn't no use in wasting time. Because I'm gonna sit
But you
there
could have told him.
no, I did. No, I wouldn't even mess with these people. Like I told you, I, I would give out those hand grenades back then, let you blow it up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you, now like I told some other people, you could have got the pen. You know, all you do is ask for it. The pen was right here in my pocket. But if you didn't ask for it and you walked off and you let that thing blow up, then hey, I'm sorry, I sacrificed it. My fault. But let's read some of the comments.
Did
Get
you
off
say
you,
we had to
huh? We
add?
want to get off him.
Oh Lord, hold on right quick. Larissa said yes, she did go out on a date with somebody who didn't have the characteristics. His ways were good. Oh, hold on. His ways were good. He thought it was more than that, and I had to beg his pardon. Dang, she said it lasted 2 weeks. Ouch. Okay. Nikki says she did it. I was bored and thought, why not? But she said she was also younger. Denise, I don't know why she said dang, but she said dang. It was something I said a moment ago. Katrina is agreeing with y'all, talking about yes, he is. Now, my Bolo, that's my boy. Bolo said if we go out, you might get a 4 for 4.
Bola,
Wait
I
a minute.
didn't think that you were that type of person.
He's joking. You know he's the comedian of the comments.
I would hope so. My God, who's on?
What he didn't say for what? No, listen, it was a joke, y'all. Can we laugh? Can we laugh? Can we laugh? Can we laugh?
I don't know. I'll be having to say. You know what? Maya Angelou said it best.
If the people show you who they are,
I'm just saying, don't get out expecting nothing over $4. Now you ain't getting it.
Okay,
Bolo,
not from Bolo.
Bolo, you you setting yourself up, my friend. You setting yourself up. I'm not putting Katrina. That's her brother. She said put him out, and she'll start the petition. Okay, I'm not putting him out. I gotta, Trina. I gotta keep men around. I need some men in the comment. Bolo, I need you to go and get about 4 or 5 brothers and tag them to jump in on this conversation. Cause we're gonna go over about 5 things. Cause I don't want to be on too long tonight. We're gonna. It's 11 steps that are the ultimate guide to dating with a purpose. But I want to look at a couple of them. And I figure if we look at just a couple of them, then we can continue the conversation a little bit because Brandon, this has been good so far. Like I said, I appreciate you. And Ashley, I appreciate you for sacrificing and coming on as well. All right. Let me see what Daryl Freeman just said when I'm trying to get this banner together. Can you see it, Ashley? Oh, I think she had to tip out on me. Okay, hold on. I'm putting up. So the first thing that this article says, Brandy, that dating with a purpose will do is, and I'm gonna ask your opinion. Do you agree with this? It says it will prevent heartbreaks. Dating with a purpose will prevent heartbreaks. How do you interpret that?
Well, when you date with a purpose, you already know what you want the end goal to be. If you see, and Daryl said something about a person's representative. Like literally, you do meet a person's representative in the beginning, and that's why I always say I'm gonna look at your fruit, because if your fruit don't match up with the person that you're trying to portray yourself to be, then I'm gonna say, no, that's not you. So will you just show me who you are so I can believe you? But in dating with a purpose, you will do a little further investigation so you can say right out the bat, no, this won't work for me. And that'll ultimately protect you from heartbreak.
That's good. Let's unpack what Valencia just said. Valencia said dating to me is keeping options open until you meet the one. Like the old woman said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If I meet someone who captures my attention fully and is consistent and wants to be exclusive, all the rest will get dismissed.
Yes.
I've been the one who date one at a time and feel like I've wasted time because you meet their representative. How you?
Yes.
You agree with that wholeheartedly?
I agree with that.
Okay.
Now, but I'm not good at the dating multiple people either. And I will be honest about that. That's why I was like, James, you may not want me to come on this show. Because for me, and I've learned this with me kind of evolving into an entrepreneur and balancing motherhood. And then also I have a lot of personal goals, because when it comes to fitness, I really like to look like my brand. And I believe that I'm my biggest marketing tool. So I spend a lot of time working on myself inside and out. And because of that, I just don't have the time to juggle a lot of different people. So you won't find me dating a lot of people at the same time. I'll give my time to one person, or I'll like kind of filter through all the people who are trying to talk to me, look at their fruit, and then say, okay, I'm gonna sit right here for a minute, and you'll have a little bit of time to reveal yourself. But then if you don't put up, I'm gonna make you shut up, and I'm gonna tell you just that this ain't working for me. I'll talk to you later. Bless your heart.
What does that time frame look like?
It just depends. It really depends on what I have time for.
until they do the right thing that turns you off. Gotcha. All right. Now, okay. Denise said something different. She says, I dated for fun and to get to know that person. I've never dated for a purpose. God revealed the rest. Unfortunately, in dating, time will get wasted.
I kind of agree with that.
I see that.
Okay.
I agree with that, and I guess what kind of goes against the part of what Brittany said as far as dating multiple people.
Ashley, if you call me Brittany one more time,
I don't know why I'm sorry, Brandy, and we cousins.
You ain't know your cousin's name.
Listen, don't judge me. Don't judge me.
I'm sorry, I don't get in family fights. My bad.
Brandy, I'm gonna do you like you be doing me. Don't start. But I feel and I just got to this point because I've always been in a relationship. I've never actually had. I've had four serious relationships in my time. I've never really dated, and so now it would be, if I did decide, then I would think that if I would spend 6 months dating one person, or getting to know that person, when I could have been talking to multiple people and doing a process of elimination, would I have saved myself some time? And so I don't really have time at this particular point to date anybody really. But I would, in my mind, I would be thinking, if and when the time presents itself, am I going to do multiple or am I going to do one? Wow. So I guess I feel like I would be wasting a whole lot of time if I could just be talking to 3 people, and in a 6 month span I can tell whether or not I want either one of them or one of them. So it's just my thought process on it.
I think for everybody is different, to be completely honest, because in working with a number of clients, I have clients right now who are dating multiple people who are on dating sites. And I learned so much. Like, I just feel like I collect data because, of course, I hear everything about their experiences. And I'd be like, y'all, I'm exhausted hearing about your experience. I can't do that. That's not in my wheelhouse of things to do. I could never. And no, them knowing me, they're like, no, you could not. This is not for you. We don't recommend online dating. We don't recommend you dating multiple people. You are too busy. So yes, just filter through the way you've been filtering through, and the one will eventually manifest, and then you'll know very quickly if he's not the one for you, because that's who you are. That's how you are.
And that's the thing, I believe. And I always tell you all on this show that none of our answers are absolute. These are all opinions. This is for entertainment purpose only. But people share what works for them. We share what works for us. Y'all share what y'all share in the comments, and we learn from each other. And there's no judgment. Chandra said, "I don't have time to be dating numerous people. That's just too much, and I'm also busy." Katrina gives a whole nother perspective. Katrina said, "I've met some really good friends and network through dating. It didn't turn out to be a romantic relationship, but I met a friend or two."
That's good.
So there are always ways to learn. Now, you could be in different positions in life as well. Someone that might be in their mid-40s and their children, their youngest is out of high school, might be in a different place, who has one that's still in school or one that's in elementary school, because one thing that I can give my ex credit for, and I appreciated her for that, was when we did, number one, she stayed long enough till our kids were older. And number two, she didn't, she told me, she said, "I won't have a man around your kids until they graduate from high school." And I didn't ask her for that stipulation, but she made that. And I see so many women that have children that invite men around their children. Why would you? I saw a post one time. It was this lady out of Nashville, and she's a radio personality. She puts this little, kind of like Lil Rock does with the Power People poll every day with a whole scenario. But she put a scenario out one day about a woman who had a teenage daughter, and she had moved her boyfriend in the house, and the boyfriend moved in the house, and he woke him up on a Saturday morning when she had a sleepover, and
I saw that.
you saw that, and she was, they slept till late, and he made them all get up, and she was mad, ready to leave, and all this. But number one, my first thing was, why in the world would you stay in the house with a woman with a teenage daughter? That ain't too many ways that can go another way. So I just didn't. But I see people who do that, the whole shacking game and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if I met a woman who had a young child, I'm not going to be trying to ask him, until you present him to me or whatever. That's way down the road, because I don't want to get attached to your child, and then all of a sudden I'm not the one. Then how does that work? Have you ever found that to be a problem? Would you introduce anybody to your son, Brandy?
My last relationship, my son was very involved, and I really thought I was going to marry that man. And the hardest part, I stayed for a year longer than I should have because of my son's relationship with him. And that was the only father he knew. So for me, I will never put myself in a position like that again. But I will say that my son is so mature that when it all transpired, he was like, "Mommy, I'm okay. I want you to be okay."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, at that moment, the only thing that I'm worried about is you, because I didn't want you to feel a way as we transitioned out of this situation. But my son did better than me.
Wow.
They're so resilient.
What's that, Ashley?
I was saying they're so resilient.
They are They are.
Yeah.
And they
much more than we
is
think.
So protective over me. He didn't want me to continue to be hurt just for him to have somebody around.
Oh, wow. Oh wow. That and ladies, I mean, I think ladies in the chat, how long should you date a man before you introduce him to your children? How long should you date? I mean, a month, 2 months, 5 dates, 6 months? I'm asking. I mean, those ladies in the chat. I mean, I don't, Brandon. I don't know. Do you have an answer for that, or you don't? You
I
don't have an
think
answer?
I know I waited um 6 months. I think it was a little longer than that, but he did not meet my son until I knew that we were pretty serious. And then the way that we met, that I brought him around, was very casual. We never had any interactions where he was in a home with my child until like a year in, like and we didn't do any shacking up.
So we're no
That
picking
was
him up.
not the example that we gave him.
You wouldn't letting him pick him up and take him to the ball game or pick him up.
Now that did become a thing because they grew their own relationship. So
Okay.
he would help me and go get him from school and things like that. So that's why I stayed longer than I should have, because of the depth of their relationship that they had built.
What about you, Ashley? How long do you think before someone should
Um,
be?
for
Yeah.
me,
Mhm.
with the only person outside of my child's biological father was my ex-husband, and it was by default maybe 2 months after we were together.
Okay.
Um, I actually thought she was asleep, and I was getting ready to go outside to his car, and he was at the door, and my child ran out of the bedroom. That's kind of how they, it was it wasn't an official type thing, but it was almost like, okay, so she's seen him. I think by 3 months, heck, 3 to 4 months, I had met his mama and I had keys to apartments. We was going on family vacations. It was a lot of stuff that transpired that went really, really quickly with that. But one of the things, like I said about the dating scene, one of the things that I had prayed for specifically with my mate that I was going to be meeting or whatever, was to have, or for them to have a great relationship with my child. And that was kind of the thing for me. So people may think that was a little bit soon, but hey, it was a long run.
Let's look at some of the comments. Cami Lachey said, "I don't know if there is a exact time." She said, "But you just kind of know." Roy Kirkland, he said, "That's my cousin." He said, It don't take a lot of dates if that's your soulmate. You'll kind of feel it. Uh, Larissa said, "My son is 35 and grown, so it won't be a wait for him." I get that. Yeah, Denise said, "I honestly can't answer that question. I don't think there's anything wrong with your children meeting the person you are dating if it's exclusive." And that's the key thing. But is it exclusive after 1 or 2 dates? You know what I'm saying? When Denise, when does it become
It
exclusive?
can
You know what I'm
be.
saying? It can't be exclusive. You know what? In this society, Brandy, guess what? If you really rethink that, Brandy, it can be exclusive.
It,
I
yeah,
mean,
it
it can
can
be
be.
exclusive, but I don't think after 1 or 2 dates I'm ready to allow you to meet my son.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
I
can
can I
definitely
can under
say,
I can understand that. Brandon, and you may still be in that situation. Like now, of course, my daughter's 15, but she, I'm not bringing nobody else, into her life like that. I mean,
right.
it,
I hope not. I really do.
um, and I'm real
Hormone raising.
particular about what I do because I'm raising a daughter, so
Exactly.
there's certain things I don't care if I had a million men, she would know about
Right.
them because there are certain things that a certain image, whether I'm the biggest hoe in Arkansas or the United States, I don't want my child to know that that's what I am.
Correct. Right.
And so, at
That's a whole
15,
nother conversation.
it is, but at 15, you're watching. Or forget 15. Before then, my child mimics and wants to wear earrings. They were wearing lip gloss, and oh, I want to put my hair like this, or can we wear the same this? So those same things that she was watching me do then, she'll be watching other things. And I've said this before. My mother, we didn't see that. She might have had some booze, I don't know, but I know that we didn't see in and outs, and
Mm-hmm.
so she won't see that. So you can't come to my house, first of all. But even if I did have somebody coming here, she wouldn't see that.
That's
So.
I'm glad to hear y'all say that honestly on this show, and how many, and I think some of the ladies I'm looking, because I know a lot of the ladies in the chat, so I know a lot of them probably have older children, but I'm interested in how they felt about that when they were younger. And Ashley, you saw your parents together, right, growing up?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
Brandy, you saw your parents together growing up. And so if the dynamic changes where you have someone who didn't see their parents growing up, you only saw your mom, and your mom never was married. Your mom only had boyfriends growing up, for however long those different types of relationships are. Do those subliminal suggestions, because we life is always happening around us, right? And it's always whispering and presenting options. You know what I'm saying? So when you see these subliminal things go on around you, uh, do you pick up those behavior patterns? Does it make you, Brandy? Does it make you, Ashley, a little more cautious about bringing a man around your house because all you saw around you was your daddy?
That for me is my thing. I already made a decision to manifest him without a husband, and he didn't have that example. So I tried to put him in an atmosphere where he sees the health of my parents' relationship.
Okay,
And
that's
then
good.
I
Hmm.
also have real conversations with my son and tell him,
Hmm.
you don't want to do what mommy did. You want to
Hmm.
Hmm.
create a two-parent home for whatever child that you birth on this earth. So,
Hmm.
with that being my message to him, I will not allow myself to parade all these different people into his life.
Hmm.
No, I want to give him the picture, like Ashley said, like he's looking at everything I do. My son
Hmm.
thinks I'm his superhero.
Hmm.
And he understands that I do this for him solo, but that's not the way it was intended to be. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I made a decision, son, but I want you to make better decisions than mommy. So I don't want you to see me parading around with this man and that man and you meeting all these different people. I want you to meet the man that's going to be the example of which I want you to be in the future, and for you to see mommy get married and all of these things in that right season. But you can't just meet every person that I
Hmm.
date on the journey towards that.
Hmm.
All right, Trina said, uh, hold on. Can you see that? Can you see that, Ashley?
I'm
You can't.
driving.
Are you okay? I ain't know that. You smart. Yeah, I ain't know. No, okay, my bad. She said it depends on the guy. The guy may have children too. I don't mind a man meeting my children early on. I wouldn't have him taking on responsibilities for my children, and kids are great discerners. My children want me happy. I'm not making him their dad, just an adult friend. I'm going to dinner with just like my friends' girls. That's right. It's just an adult friend she goes to dinner with, just like my friend girls. I wouldn't have them waking up to a man though. I want to see but I do want to see how he interacts with my children. And if you're in a relationship, I guess at some point that's going to have to happen. It's just determining when the best time for that to happen. Larissa said something a second ago. She said a girl and a boy is different when it comes to introducing your date the first time. She said it's a little bit different between boys and girls, and I can see that as well. And my girls, I'm definitely gonna throw a net over them and try to keep as much away from them as possible. My son, I was a lot more liberal in how I raised him versus how I raised my daughters. But I can see that going both ways. What do y'all think about that? You think it's different? Because Ashley, you got a daughter. Brandon, you got a
Hmm.
son. So do you think it's different as far as introducing somebody?
I
But
don't,
you,
because in this day and age, I mean, it just depends on what look. And I'm not saying that anybody is giving a certain look to their children, but it's just what look you want to give for yourself. Because those men or boys pick up, it's okay to have multiple women. Or, I saw my mama have a whole bunch of men, so shoes. I feel like it's okay. So it's just
Exactly.
whatever you feel like you want your child to, the image you want your child to have of
Model
you.
behavior.
Yeah.
that's a good point. Nikki said, Nikki, I like this. Nikki said I was protective of my children when they were younger, and if you did come over, it was after they went to sleep. It was
Mm-hmm.
difficult dating with a son. Okay,
Amen, Nikki.
I get
Amen.
it.
It
I
is.
get it. I get it. That's y'all. This has been a good conversation so far. So let's get ready to start winding down a little bit. Let's hit a couple of more of these ultimate guides to dating with a purpose. The second thing that dating with a purpose does, and hold on, let me get back over here, is that other than preventing heartbreaks, it gets you your best match. It gets you your best. You get your best match when you're dating with a purpose. Why do you think that is, Brandy?
Because you're very intentional about the person that you choose or you allow
Okay,
to pursue you.
that's good. That's good. Very intentional about the person that you choose. Intentional and choosing beyond the optics, but really getting to know a person and learning. Like you said, she said earlier, you got to review their fruit. Let's look. What do you think about that, Ashley? You think that helps?
I would say I would agree. Just being I don't we don't have a whole lot of time to waste. So just being intentional,
Right.
just like you said, about what it is um that you want. You don't go out looking for a job, and the job that you're going out, you on it's not unpurposeful. I don't even know if that's a word, but when you go out, you're looking for a specific thing.
Work
So
for me.
if you're if you're, and I know we're not looking for the man. We're allowing them to pursue us, but we still, even with them pursuing us, we're not allowing every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come over here and say, "Hey, girl, I think I want to take you out, or I want to pursue you." So yeah, I would agree with what she said, and add that little caveat, as you would say.
That's definitely a word. Katrina said, "Now, okay, Katrina. Now, Katrina talking about introducing her kids to the adult friend, but then she said, "I'm the same person who would date someone a year and they don't even know where she stay at, but but I don't mind them meeting my children." That's so the oxymoron right there. That where y'all meet at the bowling alley, Top Golf, or something. I mean, how that work out? Because she said they know. She said, but they can meet the kid. All right. So we talked about number one, it prevents heartaches. Number two, it gets you your best match. But here it is, and we're gonna wind it down on this conversation here. Because like I said, I'm trying to get us to the point where we can do this in an hour. Ashley, I got something I want to try. I'm gonna run it by you. I want to try doing an hour show. I want to do an hour show and then get off for like 10 minutes and then come on back on and do an after party for like 30 minutes and then really take questions and all that kind of stuff within that 30 minutes.
Y'all, let
But I
me
want
tell y'all about James and these ideas that he be coming with. I love James to life, and I try to, do what I'm supposed to do. But James be coming up with these ideas, honey, and he'll do it whether I say this what we gonna do or not.
Right.
absolutely.
I can see that.
But I wouldn't obligate you
He,
to the after party.
yes,
I
he
wouldn't
would.
obligate
Yes,
you
he
to the
would.
after party though.
Yes, he would.
No,
Yes, he
no, I
would.
would not.
Yes, he
He
would.
You
would.
would
You would be
you
expecting.
look, you would probably feel obligated, but I'm not. I wouldn't obligate you to the after.
Ah,
Uh,
okay, okay.
but
Y'all hear
which
him, right?
hey,
Ashley, he gonna be saying, "Where Ashley at? Where's
Where
Ashley?"
Ashley at? Yes, I was just gonna sit in the audience
now
tonight.
now Brandon, when I invited you on the show, I didn't think y'all was gonna be up and double. Y'all, I know y'all family and everything, but y'all ain't gotta be double teaming a brother like that.
Katrina, yes, ma'am. His mind already made up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he is. That's why he threw
So
it
we go,
out there right
but listen,
quick.
I want to get us to the point where we come on at 9 o'clock. Start on time. I won't even run the extra 2 minutes of music. I'll do the introduction and I'll start the show immediately. I really be waiting on you for 2 or 3 more people to come on. That's why I don't do it right away. But I'm gonna starting at 9 o'clock. We're gonna run it till 10, and then at 10 o'clock we're gonna be winding the conversation down wherever we are. And then we might do an after party, like I said, 10 or 15 minutes later. And those that come back in will be able to finish the conversation. But when we finish the conversation, I want you all to be able to ask questions. Some of y'all that want to come on and share your convictions, you can do that. But I want to get that first part of the show knocked out. So yeah, not black folk time. No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it like y'all brothers and sisters of the Caucasoid persuasion. We're gonna start on time. No, I'm joking. I said,
Hallelujah.
can I rewind that a little bit? Can I take that back in? All right. Nikki said, I agree on that. I'm currently dating someone I dated over 20 years ago. We reconnected a week after Christmas, went on a date, New Year's Eve, had a discussion a few days after that, and have been together since. However, we were dating with a purpose. That's good.
That's
And so,
beautiful.
exactly. And this 11-step ultimate guide to dating with a purpose. It's 8 more to go. But we've only hit 3, and I might share the other ones in a post or something in the next couple of days. But it also gives you an insight into your future relationship. How does that work, Ashley? How do you feel like it gives you insight into your future relationship?
Let me think on it.
Go ahead, Brandon. Think about it, Ashley, and then we let Brandon come back with it.
Well,
we're talking about
I think
dating
the
with a
way
purpose.
that a person pursues you and their consistency shows you how they will be in a relationship, especially if you compare their fruit to their actions and everything lines up. You will know if you're dating with intention and with purpose, how that relationship will look in the future, because it'll consistently be you both pursuing each other and making priorities to move towards that end goal.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. For me, I guess I'll say I don't know if it'll always give insight on a future relationship, because a lot of times we get the representatives, and so in having that, I guess that would be what kind of insight. I don't know, because sometimes you don't get the representative until 6 months down. You don't get the real person until like 6 months down the line.
That's true.
Wow.
So I don't know about that one, James.
What about y'all ladies in the chat? We out of here in about 5 minutes. Y'all tell me. What do y'all think? Do you think that gives dating with a purpose? Does it give you insight into your future relationship? And listen, let's not allow groupthink to take over now. Just because somebody talks about a representative, now we know it does happen, but it's not always the norm, right? Sometimes it's the exception and not the rule, right? So let's folks, if it's not always a representative, sometimes it's good things. And we really not talking. We talking about the ones that work, aren't we? For the most part, I don't know. I mean, I think we're talking about the ones that actually do work. I think that's what I'm. See, here they come, Ashley. You see the real McCoy.
Okay,
I
y'all.
agree,
I'm
Ashley.
sorry, James.
Exactly, the representative. There we go.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No,
Okay, let me go back and change my perspective.
Ashley, don't change it. Don't
Listen,
change it.
I
That's
try
your
to be.
mistake today.
I
and
try to
flies.
give the
Boy, I
real
despise, you know, I
on
said,
how.
Brandon, Negroettes and flies. Both of them I despise.
Listen, I'm just
Listen,
saying.
you better back up, James. You better back up now.
Listen, I'm trying to tell them. I try to give the real perspective of
real.
what's going on in my mind. Because shoot, I might not get the realness of what's in my future of my relationship within this first couple of seconds, because I'm in love with somebody I don't even really know. I thought I knew him, and here comes somebody else.
But then I think that's where you have to be spiritually in tune and make sure that you're praying for discernment.
But guess what?
Because
You know the devil know the word too.
Like, y'all boys better stop playing with these spiritual women, because God's showing us some things.
And
we will dip out on you quicker than you came into our lives.
Man, you better talk. Now now spiritual discernment is a spiritual gift. Everybody ain't got it. And that's why you said keyword pray to get it.
For it.
Pray to get it. Pray to get it.
And guess what? I get all of that. But guess what? The devil knows the Bible too, and he hears those same desires.
We ain't talking about the Bible. We talking about the spirit now. We talking about the Bible right now. We talking about the spirit.
Okay, guess what? He hears those same desires that you spit out in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hears those same things. But we'll talk about that. I'm not going. Don't talk about the representative, y'all, because James said don't talk about him.
No, we're talking about it now. But we're gonna pray. We're gonna pray that if the we're gonna take Miss Brandy's advice.
Said, okay.
Huh?
You're right. That's your perspective.
He said,
no, we good with it. Let's ride with it. But you brought as she said, you brought a caveat. The caveat is to pray for discernment. Mm-hmm. And so if you pray for discernment, then the Lord, then prayerfully, and I do, now as we do believe that His Spirit is much stronger than the devil. So if I pray for the discernment, He will reveal what needs to be revealed, I think. And
yes, but you got to be obedient to agree and dismiss.
Oh yeah, that's key. That's key and critical. I ain't had nobody to dismiss, so I'm okay. I ghost them. I used to ghost them.
Cause you
I
ghost
don't go.
them.
I
James,
don't
we
ghost them
gonna
no
talk
more though.
about that ghosting, baby.
I'm through with
Cause
ghosting.
he will ghost.
I'm
Oh,
delivered.
oh,
I'm delivered.
hallelujah. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I'm delivered.
yesterday.
I am.
Okay.
Listen,
Yeah,
I'm
right,
delivered.
right, Ashley. Get it. When did
What?
that
I didn't
start?
hear her. What she say? What you say, Ashley?
Just yesterday you was delivered. Okay.
No, well, we ain't even talked since 3 days. So how you know?
You just okay,
I'm
James.
delivered. I'm
Do not get
delivered.
on here with these good people acting up,
I
okay?
am delivered. I am delivered.
I
I am.
do have a question or a comment. I know you said we was wrapping up, and I
Go ahead.
guess it was related to Miss Nikki and her comment when she said that she met somebody that she had dated
20 years
20
ago.
over 20 years ago.
Hmm.
I feel that
Hello,
people
Jackie.
that are, I'll say, older, they have gone through different things, live life a little bit. Their purpose in dating, it may be a little bit different than the younger people, because they don't well, let me go back. People often wonder how somebody can meet somebody in 2 months and then they done got married, because I feel like their whole reason for dating was different. I'm not
Yeah.
dating to gather a whole bunch of information.
Mm-hmm.
I need me a mate. I want me a permanent mate, and this is what we're gonna do. So I think also different levels in life can
Yeah.
bring about the quickness in the relationships and the how quickly they advance.
I agree with that. I agree. Cause we get old, we ain't got time to be playing around.
Yeah,
We got time
yeah.
to be playing.
And because I've talked, I talked to all my friends is 45 and up, and
Right.
so if they aren't already with somebody, they're dating somebody or wanting to date somebody, and they like, I ain't got no whole lot of time to be wasting, and so they don't waste a whole lot of time. And when they
Mm-hmm.
get with somebody, I know somebody who dated somebody for 6 months and they was married after that. And people
Wow.
might looked at them like they were crazy, but heck, they still married. And so
Did we lose you, Ashley? I think you might have drove through a bad area. All right, but yeah, so we got the gist of what she's saying. People in different stages in life,
Mm-hmm.
count are
what you
probably a
got to do,
little.
I don't feel like it don't take a long time. But that was just my point of view on that, when she mentioned that. I do know a lot of people, that are older, they not wasting no time playing with these folks.
Gotcha. But that's good. It's I'm happy, and I'm winding down now. I'm happy. I really am. I'm happy that people are dating with a purpose,
Hmm.
because for the simple fact that marriage is under attack, that black families are under attack. They're saying that more people are getting divorced than they are getting married. They're getting divorced at a more rapid rate. So I'm just happy to see that more women. Hey, Jackie Wilson, how you doing tonight? I'm just happy to see that more people are dating with a purpose, and I hope that purpose does end in marriage. And I hope that we learn. And that's why I do these shows, because I hope that we can learn to communicate with each other. I hope that women and men can share their convictions. The other side listen, and then once they listen, they learn from it, and then they apply the knowledge that they learn, and then hopefully they can apply it to their relationships, and it makes the relationship solid in the future. So that's why I try to do these shows, and I'm so thankful for my home girl Ashley, always coming on for me. I see M. Renee Brown. Appreciate you, Nikki, all of y'all that are in the chat. I really do appreciate y'all. I appreciate all that y'all bring to the conversation, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I think tonight's conversation has been real. I think it's been raw. I think it's been organic, and I appreciate you, Brandy, for coming on and sharing your truths. You
Thank
said
you
in
for
the
having me.
no problem. You'll be back, because next time we're gonna talk about fitness, what we really
I
were gonna
told
want
you
to
I'm
do.
not coming back on here no more.
Did you? Well, we're gonna pray
But
for a spirit.
Ashley,
We're
he
gonna
ain't
pray
finna
for a
bait
spirit.
me in. Tell
We're
him
gonna
he
pray
ain't
for a
finna bait
spirit
Listen,
of
me in.
we're gonna pray for a spirit of discernment, and hopefully God will work that whole thing out, so he'll
but
get you come and build your
she
brand.
listen. She said she was when she was talking about her brand earlier. Now, Brenda, you are definitely one that well, people, when I go and work out and I see that the person that's working out looks worse than me, then I don't want to work out with them. So you are definitely spot on when you said my brand, or however you put it. You look like I want to come and work out with you, because I feel like you can get me right. So, yeah, Get on
Thank you,
these.
cousin.
If you in the city of Little Rock and you need a trainer, as soon as I get back in the city, I'm going to see Miss Brandon, honey, because
Tell him,
Brandon
Brandon. Tell
looks
him how.
Oh
good.
Yeah,
no.
tell him how to get. If you're looking for any clients, taking on any clients, tell them how to get in contact with you and all
I
that.
am accepting clients. So you can find me on Facebook, Brandy Nicole Tate. Also on social media, XOXO Brandy Nicole Fitness.
Okay. And what all type of training do you do?
I do personal training one-on-ones. I also do trampoline classes. And I'm taking a break from yoga in the studio, but I should probably have another studio that I'll be teaching yoga at within the next month or so.
Gotcha. And are all your challenges full and all that kind of stuff for the
And
summer?
I have a challenge coming up, and my challenges, y'all, they're all virtual. So wherever you are in the world, you can participate in my challenges, and they really change lives. It's more than just for me as a trainer. I believe in working on your inside out, because if your inside does not look like the outside manifestation, it's worthless anyways. So I challenge you to think and grow within, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, breaking down walls, and then bringing that outward manifestation. So meal plans, everything. I also take meal plan clients as well. So with the challenges, you get workout plan, meal plan, and then weekly consults with me to talk about your results and updated plans.
All righty. All right. So y'all got it. And if you go back and listen to this video, I'll have it on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts tomorrow, Google Podcasts, all that. So wherever you get your podcast, it'll be there tomorrow. That will be audio only. So if you don't have time to watch it, you can listen to it. If you want to watch it again, you can watch it here, or you can watch it on YouTube. And I think this is going to be our last week of women showing men how to date them. Next week, I'm going to bring some brothers on, and we'll have the
Yay.
conversation. And ladies,
I'm
if y'all
gonna
want to come,
be off then, right?
probably.
Yes, you trying to
Yeah.
claim your
I
break.
have technical difficulties. I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties all of a sudden. It's only coming from Ashley's line. I wasn't off when the women were on. But
Ah!
so we go
Oh, I
gonna
got you. Okay,
yeah.
makes sense.
So we're gonna have the brothers on next week. I got a couple of guys I'm gonna get on, and we'll get this conversation going. And sisters, y'all come with. Listen, I didn't let them talk crazy when y'all were talking. So next week when you come on, please have a little grace. You'll have a little grace. Don't be too hard.
Please don't run them off, y'all.
And that little
Please.
pointer finger that you have, put it in your pocket. Don't come in and pointing the finger at nobody next week. Let's come in and let's have a conversation. Let's learn from each other. Let's learn from each other. Real talk. Let's learn. Janita said, "Dang, she joined late. You have to re-listen to the recording." Okay, we appreciate that. But I'm out of here. Ashley, I appreciate you. Love you. I really do. You know you're my home girl. Ashley came on tonight despite, there you go, say hey to people. She came on despite having to be a mother and do her thing. But listen, guys, we're dating with, it's not only sisters dating with a purpose. We ought to be dating with a purpose too. And I got time to be just wasting time anymore. It's yeah. As my grandmama used to say, it done got late in the evening. I'm joking.
Getting late in the evening.
It's
But the
getting that late in
sun,
the evening, y'all.
yeah, I know it done got late in the evening. Yeah, I know how they used to do it. And yeah, that's Baptist thing. I know y'all probably don't know nothing about that one.
Yes.
But
Yeah, we do.
okay, good. I didn't know. I thought y'all knew folk was non-denominational and Church of God and Jehovah Witness. No, I didn't know
Listen, we
what y'all
still rooted in Baptist.
Hello.
Okay. Absolutely. Hey, but listen, what I always say, the world is changing. My question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have